Speaking of Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, you might remember that at Biden's State of the Union, okay, his last State of the Union, iconic moment, he got Republicans to promise with a vocal response to not touch Medicare and Social Security. We all remember, right? I'll show you that moment as a reminder in just a moment. Kevin McCarthy, now that he got his agreement with Biden and he's making it out to be great for him, questionable, but he's saying we have a lot more to do. And next, Medicare, Social Security, or at least that's going to happen. And what's so annoying is, and to highlight how aggravating this is, let me remind you this moment from the State of the Union.
Some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority.
By the way, Kevin McCarthy smugly nodded his head like whenever Biden predicted back then that they were going to hold the economy hostage to get policy concessions and to get through their economic agenda. And he acted like, oh, we're not going to do that. And that's exactly what they did.
Majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. And I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks, as we all apparently agree, Social Security and Medicare is off the books now, right? They're not to be stopped. All right.
Okay, so right there, that was honestly one of the most genius moments of Biden's presidency, I gotta say. Just optically, that was awesome. But they're pretending. You saw Mike Lee. Oh, how dare he say we're not going to go after Medicare and Social Security. And by the way, he used the term sunset because that's the exact term, the exact proposal put forward in the Rick Scott plan to save America or something, who's a Republican senator. He was being 100% honest. Biden was. And we know so many Republicans that we're about to get to with the Speaker of the House do want to go after Medicare and Social Security, do think we should solve any spending problem they see by going after those programs or deficit problem or whatever, by going after those crucial programs. And there you had Marjorie Greene, liar. And like I said, Mike Lee and a lot of these Republicans with just the most outraged face ever. What? We're not going to threaten to default and we're not going to go after Medicare and Social Security. Then you wait a few months. That's exactly what happened. And now, even though they didn't touch those programs previously in this last agreement, Kevin McCarthy is saying, oh, we're coming for them.
I was elected to help lead this nation. So the first thing we did, open the House up. The bills, you now get to see them before you ever vote on them. And now we're cutting. And you know what? I'm going to make some people uncomfortable by doing that, but I'm not going to give up on the American people. And this isn't the end. This doesn't solve all the problems. This is the first step.
Sorry, he's about to go into what this whole story is about, but can I just say, if giving up on the American people means you stop trying to cut spending to programs that benefit the American people, then in this situation, I want you to give up. Yes, please give up.
This doesn't solve all the problems. This is the first step. I'm going to announce a commission coming forward from the Speaker, from bipartisan on both sides of the aisle. We only got to look at 11% of the budget to find these cuts. We have to look at the entire budget. The Congress has done this before.
Why didn't you see the whole budget?
Because the president walled off all the others. The majority driver of the budget is mandatory spending. It's Medicare, Social Security, interest on the debt. So you only have 11% to look at this budget. But we were able to increase our defense to protect us, take care of our veterans. But you know that non-defense with veterans out, we are now going to spend less than we spent in 2022. That's a major victory. I was elected.
So he's upset because Biden walled off, as he said, a discussion about cutting spending to Medicare, Social Security, and interest on the national debt. But if you're talking about spending cuts, he said it explicitly there. This is not even having to take it to a conclusion. This is what exactly he said. He's talking about spending cuts and then a commission to look into spending cuts that address other parts of the budget, mandatory spending, Medicare, and Social Security. They usually do this weird dance where it's, well, I just want to reform Medicare and Social Security. It's not going to cut your benefits, but it's reforming them. It just so happens you'll get less. Now, sometimes the hyperbolic nature of the way they speak about these programs makes good faith people go, wait, but they are going to go bankrupt, right? No, they don't have to. I've talked about in the past how we don't. Essentially, it's more proper and reasonable taxation on those at the top of our economic ladder, which of course Kevin McCarthy would not be on board with. And as I mentioned in the last segment, it is absurd that billionaires, some of the richest people in this country, pay a single-digit effective tax rate, many of them. That is bonkers. Let's start there, then we can circle back around to this commission idea that you have. And like I said, I've gone through more specifically in the past from a policy perspective how you do that. But this is the priority. And we've known that it's the priority. They gaslight the stink out of us and say that it's not. We're not going to touch Medicare and Social Security, but we are, after we got spending cuts on this, going to go after spending cuts to the mandatory programs and a commission to look into Medicare and Social Security. That's what they want. And so it's great that Biden has made it such an important part of his presidency and of his branding and campaigning to say, no matter what, I'm protecting those programs. Because we've seen Democrats in the past be a little bit play coy with the idea of this subject, and maybe they'd be interested in some compassionate reforms to these programs. We don't have to do that, okay? Don't let that nonsense get into your brain. It's very reasonable to protect the benefits as priority one. More proper taxation is how you make that happen, especially on those at the top of the economic ladder, like I said. And it is really one of the most enraging parts of just day-to-day policy discussions within American politics because of how important those programs are. The constant back and forth. It's just a cycle you go through. I've now had to do stories like this multiple times where you're told into your face, no, we're not touching those programs. Stop saying that. You're such a liar for saying that we're going to touch them. Hey, we should touch Medicare and Social Security. Wait, you want to touch Medicare and Social Security? No, what are you saying? I didn't say that. It's so enraging, and it just makes you feel like you're going crazy, but you're not. It's true. And that little statement he made, put that into an ad, run it nonstop in the next election, because we know Republicans, Democrats, Independents, none of them, some of them, but majority of them don't want these programs to be attacked.